we were talking about this earlier today, weren't we, Anna? That like in British English we don't say hello. And we actually go on, Anna, you can do it. If I wanted to, so you would say, "Oh, you're still alive," but in Britain we would not say "hiya" or "hi," "hello." Instead, we would say,
"You're right."
You're right.
I was so confused the first time I ever heard it. I thought a person was actually asking me if I'm okay. I was like, yes. And they were like, oh.
You're right. It sounds like it's the same question that you would ask if your child fell on the floor. And you're like, you're right. Right? Like it's the same tone, you know, the sort of mellow. You're right. Because it's not asked like a question. And I think that's the problem that people get confused with when they first move to the UK. Somebody says, "You're right." And you think, "Oh my God, this person is really worried about me." "I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Are you okay?" No, I didn't ask you that. I said hello. I said, "You're right." Right? It's really common. I mean, even in the north of England, I would say it's worse. Because there's been like a progression through time. You have, "Are you alright?" And then, "You alright?" And then, "You're right." And then in the north of England, you've got, "You're right."
Oh yeah, I've heard that. People just go, "Right." I'm like, "Right."
Right.
At first I thought they were saying hi, you know, hi. But they're saying, "Right."
So another thing about "you're right" as well is that the word right, obviously being right, you can say "you're right" as well, but in the north we like to make everything more complicated, so we say right instead. There's an expression in English which is "be right." Do you know what it means, Anna? I'm sure you've heard me say it like thousands and thousands of times.
I have no idea what you just said.
Be right. So, for example,
wait,
Anna.
be rated.
No, but I can see why the confusion might occur. No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's like "it will be all right."
Oh Jesus!
So I've said it to you recently because you were asking me about some of my exams that I have to do this week, and you said, "Do you think it will be okay?" Like you said you were worried about failing them, and I just said, "Yeah, be right."
Yeah.
Be right. It's like people in Britain, you know, they say that British people have a very dark or dry sense of humour, but like I think that it's actually a very positive mindset that we see terrible, awful things happening to us in our daily lives, and we respond with, "Be right," every time.
Wow.
It's amazing.
This is incredibly tragic to hear.
No, not at all, not at all.
But also, if you have a really happy occasion, do you also say that?
Be right.
Yeah.
What, like,
Oh, like,
"Oh my
it's
gosh,
alright.
your
like,
baby just came back from the hospital. He's going to be okay." And then you turn to your wife and you go, "Be right." No, that would never happen. Never happen. See, because then you would say it would be all right.
Because I've heard many British people use the word "alright" even when there's something like amazing going on, like really good. People are like, "Yeah, it's alright."
Yeah, to be fair, in British English, a lot of the words you use depend on how you say them. So, like, you know, the use of the word "alright," I could be like, "Yeah, it's alright." And then that means, like, it's okay. It's 50%. But if I say, "this is alright," that's like, I'm, like, happy. And then "alright," which is like, I'm sad now. What made me upset? So it really does depend. I mean, I'm sure the listeners can hear the difference between like "all right" and "all right." You can hear the tone increases slightly. So maybe there's something in that.
Yeah, it's a very versatile word, alright.
Yeah, it's very applicable to many circumstances. I'm sorry, guys. That's just how it is over in Britain. You know, I miss England. I have to be honest. I really do. I miss Scotland as well. Do you miss Scotland?
I miss Scotland a little bit. I mean, not the Glaswegian accent, but I miss Scotland in general.
Who misses that? Just kidding. Any,
Oh,
any.
God.
I feel like I have to cover all of my bases now. If a Glaswegian person, a person from Glasgow, listens, I don't want to make them very angry and make them come for me. Not in the mood. But, you know, I totally agree, because even as a native person, speaking to somebody from Glasgow is like speaking to somebody with a different language. It's crazy. Something that I could never understand was when people said like Kenny,
Kenny,
and it meant like can't. Yeah, some people say canny. I can't hear you. That's terrible. That was really bad. I'm sorry. But then some people would say like a Kenny as well.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember when I landed in Scotland, first time I'm ever in Scotland, first time I'm hearing, well, I've heard the Scottish accent before, or like not the Scottish accent, but like one of them. And I remember I asked I landed and I needed to find like a place where I get a taxi, right? Where you get a taxi, and I didn't know where to go, and I just asked somebody, like staff, like the people working at the airport, and they answered me with "I dinna ken," and I was like where is that? Excuse me. And they were like, "I dinna ken." I was like,
"I dinna ken."
Yeah, I was like,
what's that?
Apparently, it means I don't know.
"I dinna ken."
Yeah, I was like, I was just standing there like, excuse me, where is that? Sorry.
I'm just imagining like Americans being like, what's I dinna ken? I don't understand. I'm like, oh my God, you poor guys. I feel so sorry for you. That's awful, because that just makes you feel like you don't know the language as well, right? Like, I just tried so hard, studied for years, and then the first person I meet says absolute nonsense right to my face, and I'm expected to understand it. I think I heard one of my flatmates say that once, like one of the people that I shared a flat with. I think he said I didn't ken one time, and I was like, haha, yes, my friend, I have no idea what you are talking about, yay. I was trying to be as polite as possible.
Yeah.
But my God, it's so complicated. You know, Glaswegians actually have like the weirdest dialectal differences, and I can't replicate them. They're beautiful. I love Glaswegian accent. I absolutely love it. Like one of my favorite comedians who worked for the BBC called Limmy. This is a recommendation, guys, if you want hard mode English. He is a very, very funny comedian, and he had his own show on the BBC for a while. And honestly, there's two reasons why I watch him. First of all is because he's funny. Second of all is because I need to study his accent. I don't understand it enough. There's things that I've learned watching him, that in Glasgow, if you say greeting, it means like crying.
Yeah,
and it's spelled like greet as well. So like if you greet somebody, it doesn't make sense, right? And then they, instead of saying car, they say motor as well. Motor.
About a car?
And yeah, they say like, I was in me motor. Bad example, once again. All of the northerners are going to be very upset at me for being really bad at my own accent.
I find it interesting how some of the Scottish things like greeting, for example, in Swedish, to cry is gråta. So like it's very close.
No way, really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. See, I was thinking about this because I had a class recently. I was trying to explain to one of my students about how like Scottish dialect is so different. Scots is basically like a completely different language sometimes, and I mean, some Scottish people will be like, it is a language. All right, save that argument for some other time.
Well, yeah,
I
the
don't want
Scottish
to-
people, they do have languages, but like if you just talk about the accents and like
Yeah,
their
I mean-
like region, like basically things that are English but
Mm-hmm.
just Scottish.
Yeah, so the dialectal differences,
Yeah.
they are so massive that I was like, the only reason I can see why that happens is perhaps because of some kind of Northern European influence. So it makes sense to me that Sweden would have some kind of impact on Scottish English. Well, you know, we discussed the names of places, which is hopefully going to be a video soon.
Traumatized by that.
But the names of some places in England, it seems to be completely arbitrary. But in reality, there are some connections to Vikings, to the French invasion. There's so many different reasons that you can give for names of places being different. And I mean, what's to say that that doesn't happen to the dialect as well, that changes the way we speak to each other in different places? It's very weird. It's very, very weird. British, the differences in all of the different countries in the United Kingdom is very fascinating. I think it's cool.
It is.
a big
I
fan.
find sociolinguistics to be really interesting in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like how different languages form, how different things shape languages.
Trying to think of another good example that is very applicable to... Ooh, you know what? I'll give you one more. From my hometown, there's a lot of dialectal differences in Yorkshire, in the county that I am from, which is pretty crazy because, I mean, there's a great many counties in the United Kingdom, in England exclusively, actually, and the accents and dialects seem to change if you travel 20 kilometers in one direction. It's absolutely insane. But one of my favorite things in Yorkshire is that we, instead of saying with, we say we, and without is we out. My becomes me.
What?
Yeah. If I want to get somebody's attention, I wouldn't say, "Hey, over here, sir." Or if I'm angry, I'd be like, "Hey, I can't believe you said that." I would actually just apply two words. Nah then. And nah then is like now then.
What is happening? Do you just get rid of all diphthongs? Is it that?
I think so. I think it has got something to do with that. But then at the same time, some of the no, actually, I lie. I take it back. I actually think that the diphthongs get reduced into the neutral form. So instead of saying right with an I sound, which is a diphthong, we actually say a, which is easier for us to pronounce. So I think it changes over time. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be interesting to the people that are like...
It will.
Watching that stuff. You say it will. Don't believe you. But it's... in the Yorkshire dialect, it can be really, really confusing to understand what people are saying. Because if I say like... I don't know. I'm not going without my friends. I'd say, I'm not going without my friends. Right? We out me friends.
Oh my god.
Or we out me mates, because mates is better than saying friends. So I wanted to talk to you at one point, maybe in an episode, about Cockney rhyming slang, because it's so interesting. I just think it's the weirdest thing. For any of you back home that don't know what Cockney rhyming slang is, it's basically a type of slang from the south of England in London, which is where Cockney people are from, which is a slang that's has certain words that are used instead of other words, but those words they create a rhyme. So the most common example, Anna, you know it.
Apples and pears? which
Apples and pears.
apples and pears, which means stairs, of course, as we all know.
Yes.
Yeah, who
Absolutely.
I mean, who couldn't have guessed that?
I think in our accents, it would sound very weird to be like, I am just going to go up the apples and pears to get my wallet. But in the Cockney accent, it makes a lot more sense.
What is the Cockney accent like, Emily? Do you know how to impersonate a Cockney person?
No. No. Nope, absolutely not. I have no idea. I'm looking at the Cockney rhyming slang dictionary as we speak, and there's just multiple times where the same rhyme is used for many things. So it turns out that April Fool can be a stool, April Fool can be a tool, and April Fools can be football pools.
There's one thing that I find really weird about and I don't really know anything about this, so maybe you can clear this up. But sometimes when people speak, the TH sound is almost like an F sound.
Oh, that's very northern. I actually have some friends and people I know that just quite literally say think instead of think. And I always thought it was the oddest thing because I've never done that.
Yeah, it's weird. And some people, like, I saw, I think on Twitter, I saw that somebody wrote thanks, like with an F.
Yeah.
And I was like, for a second, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Somebody said another thing, like between British and American English. Americans always laugh because we pronounce, whenever you have a T and a U together, we pronounce it like chew. And Americans say two. So Americans say tuna, where we would say tuna. And Americans say Tuesday, but we would say Tuesday. And Americans are like, oh, they say Tuesday. And it's like, yeah, okay, we do. We do, yeah, but stop bullying us because we're very sensitive about it. But yeah, just these tiny things can kind of really affect your learning experience if you decide to spend some time in Manchester, honestly any part of England. It doesn't just have to be in the north. But we hope that just by talking about some little examples of how British English can be unique, we have helped you guys on your English learning adventure.
Yeah, guys, I hope that you maybe now understand the British or the English.
Hell, Anna, could you sound a bit happier? Yeah, I mean...
No, I'm confused. I feel like I'm more confused now than I was coming into this podcast episode.
Yeah, I feel like...
just as I think that I understand the English accent, or not the English accent, but at least the majority of them, you hit me with new information.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
What was it, BA?
Like we say in the north, you may be feeling a little bit stressed out right now considering these things, but be right. If there's any lesson that you're going to take from this, be right.
Be right, guys.
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening, everybody, and we'll see you soon. One more thing, in the north of England, instead of saying goodbye, we say ta-ra.
What?
Ta-ra.
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 What?
Did you not know that?
That's
really?
Real. No, you are.
I'm not even joking.
With me.
Ta-ra, love. That's what my grandma says to me when I call her.
Ta-ra.
So, see you later, grandma. And she says, ta-ra, love. Ta-ra's nice. I don't know why we say it, and it does sound a little bit like a sound effect, but ta-ra. Have a nice... Look, don't ignore Anna. She's fine. She's just recovering. Be right.
Yes.
But I hope that you guys found it useful, and if you didn't, be right. So have a nice weekend, and whatever day it is, ta-ra.
Ta-ra, everyone.
I guess.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions related to the topic, and we will try our best to respond to you. Please subscribe to the channel for a new podcast episode every Saturday, as well as essential tips during the week. See you next time!